Over time, I've been building my castle of love just for two. Though you never knew you were my reason. I love that song. There's a lyric that I really like. Hold on. Yes, we're gonna wait till I. And though they don't believe that they do come true. Thought in my dreams come true when I looked at you. And maybe too, if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed, over love, over me. And though they are saying improbable, what do they know? Foreign romance, all true love needs is a chance. Okay, this has become a concert, but hey there, and welcome to This Is Your Time with ChaChanna podcast. I'm the one and only ChaChanna, your sunshine soul navigator. And on this podcast, we are all about having fun and being inspired to find the things that bring us joy. And one of the things that brings me joy, if you haven't noticed, is singing. So if this is your first time, or even if it's not, you'll notice that I usually start off singing. Well, that's going to continue to happen. And today's selection was Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder, one of my favorite artists, off his album In Square Circle. Next year, I'm going to take singing lessons. And when I do, you think I sing a lot. Now, man, I'll be walking up the streets just singing. No. I mean, actually, in supermarkets, if they're playing a song that I know, I am dancing and singing. I love music and I love singing. But when I get those singing lessons, you will not be able to shut me up. This whole podcast, I'll be singing it. And let's be clear, I know I have a lovely voice. If you've been around me, you have heard me say how melodious my voice is. But I want to be able to control my voice, control my volume, and like to really use my voice in the best way possible. I don't want to perform or anything like that. Like you're not going to see me on stages. I just want to do it for me, for you guys. And right now, the only volume that I have right now, the only setting that I have is loud. I do try to control it, but it just doesn't work out that way. And maybe you are wondering, why is she putting it off till next year taking singing lessons? Why didn't she do it now? Because it's not a priority right now. It's a fun project for later. This year, I have other fun projects that I want to put my full focus on. This podcast is one of them. I'm determined to publish a podcast weekly for this entire year. Every single week, you're going to get an episode, no matter what. I've had many podcasts. My first podcast was in 2010 on Blog Talk Radio. Anybody remember that? Which I looked up, and at the time of this recording, it said it was going to cease operations on January 31st of this year. And I ran that show live weekly for a year and a half, I think. I had guests on. I had a senator on, Jim Hines. I had many experts on talking about relationships and career. I had it was on at 6:30 p.m. on a Sunday for about an hour, and it was about it was for the business that I had. It was called Twentity, which was helping 20-somethings graduate to the real world. Yeah, that was 2010. So that was 15 years ago. Then I had a podcast. Then I stopped doing that. And then I started doing a podcast called A Stellar Day with ChaChanna, where I shared weekly messages of hope and inspiration. And then I stopped doing that. And then I did a writing podcast called Writing in Color, which was about my writing process. I was at the time aspiring to write a novel. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I have, and I still have, an assassin series that I wanted to write, female assassins, and make it like a multiverse type of thing. But then I wrote the first draft of my novel, which was really just a 7,000 word outline, really, Then they do this and then this, and I hated it. I haven't went back to it. I don't. Did I go back? I did go back to it like earlier, maybe a month ago, to see like, how do I feel about this? I'm like, yeah, like the concept I had, the idea I had, but actually putting it on paper and making it work, I don't have the desire for that. So then that ended. And then the last podcast I did actually was Witchy and Woo. And I co-hosted it with my magical bestie, Carla Lynn, and we talked about magic, spells, and woo. And we did that for 2 years. We did that. Oh my gosh, you guys, and I forgot. At the same time I was doing that one, I did another one called Light Your Own Path, where I was sharing my spiritual journey about Reiki and tarot and everything. And so this is actually my 6th podcast. It's a combination of everything I mentioned. It pretty much is a combination of my writing, my spiritual journey, and storytelling and inspirational messages. Because I don't want to be in a particular lane, because that's why those podcasts ended for me, because I'm like, okay, if I'm doing Let Your Own Path, I'm talking my spiritual journey, I can't talk about anything else. I'm like, but I want to talk about my writing. And if I talk about writing, people are following me for writing, and I didn't feel like I could talk about anything else. So this is like, I'm talking about whatever I want. So I don't have to feel like I'm in one thing. So this is why I have this podcast where I'm just going to talk about whatever I feel like. I'm not staying in one particular lane. I'm gliding all over the highway and changing directions if I feel like it. So don't feel like you have to be one thing. You can be a multitude of things. You can be have a multitude of hobbies, of perspectives, of things you're interested in. Let's stop focusing on one thing and thinking that we can only do this. In your career, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in this career, I can't branch out, I'm too old to change my direction. That's not true. It's never too late. It is never too late to change directions. And you don't, we're in a 3D dimensional world? I think yes. We're in a 3D world. So we're multifaceted. We have the opportunity. We have so many things available to us, more so than previous generations. So we can dabble into all the things. We don't have to do one thing. As long as you are not intentionally hurting anyone, do what brings you joy. That's what this is all about. So with that in mind, today I'm going to share a story that I wrote. Was it back in 2017? Maybe. It's when I signed up to the Writer's Digest newsletter, which, oh my gosh, if you've ever done that, they send emails upon emails upon emails. It's a lot. But when you sign up to them, they give their free gift for signing up is a 2-week writing prompt bootcamp. And so this story that I'm about to read to you was the second assignment, to write about bumping into an ex-lover on Valentine's Day, the one you believe is the one that got away. So here we go. Hey there, I said awkwardly. This can't be happening to me. I randomly decided to stop at McDonald's before hopping on the highway to return home. He doesn't even live in this part of town. Hey, ChaChanna. Long time no see. What you been up to? He says with that wide grin he always wears. Damn, he looks good. Oh, nothing much. You? Same. Everything good with you? What are you doing in my part of town? He's looking at me weird, almost like he's looking at a lollipop he'd like to lick. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I know I don't like it. He better not say nothing stupid. Yes, everything with me is stellar. I met up with a friend in the city. The traffic was crawling, so I thought I'd stop by Mickey D's and get an orange shake and their strawberry cream pies. I really love them, but I don't get them anymore since I cut back on eating processed food, and they only have them for a limited time. I'm completely rambling, trying to figure out how to escape. And I need to escape. This is how we always start. Randomly seeing each other, dating, me ending the relationship, and then we see each other again and the cycle begins again. Cool, he says slowly, nodding his head. I'm not interested in what he has to say next. Whatever it is, it's clearly a trap. Well, it was nice seeing you, I say as I turn towards the door, damn near smashing into an older gentleman. I excuse myself and continue rushing into the restaurant, not even bothering to look back. I focus on my original mission. I could taste the pies, and after this brief encounter, I deserve those pies. While standing in line, I reminisce. At one time, I thought he was going to be the one. You know, the one you will end up with. But he disappointed me time and time again. We dated off and on for 5 years, and the last time we broke up really crushed me because I thought we were done playing games. Well, it turns out I was done playing games. He wasn't. Why am I always the last one to find out? I have to admit that since we broke up, I've been searching for the best part of our relationship in others. Who knew it would be so hard to find someone to accept me for me and not want to change me? With him, I could be my full, bitchy, sarcastic self, and he didn't care, didn't take it personally. It was great until it wasn't. With my orange shake and pies in hand, I pause at the door and scan the parking lot before I step out. Seeing it's all clear, I get back in my car and point it north towards my part of the world. Happy Valentine's Day to me. The end. That was nice and short and sweet, wasn't it? So that wraps up our episode for today. Nice and short and sweet episode, so you can go on to the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here, and please subscribe to the podcast. This is Your Time with ChaChanna. Share this episode with your friends, and please leave a review. On Spotify, you can leave a voice message and comments if you so desire. You can also send me a love note at ChaChanna@lightYourOwnPath.com. Until next time, find the things that make you happy, whole, and joyful, and do more of that.